Paranormal Evidence.
Tonight, see what truly exists inside the world of the paranormal. Join the discussion and review some of the best paranormal evidence captures from a wide variety of experienced and up-and-coming investigators. See and hear what they capture, where they captured it, and how they captured it. Right now on Entity Voices
Paranormal Evidence.
Live.
Good evening and welcome to Entity Voices Paranormal Evidence. I'm Tony Rathman.
I am Cherie Radman.
I am Chris Allgood.
I am Audra Keeler. Excited to have Cherie here.
Again.
I know.
Hey! And there's number two. Hectic day for all of us. I literally showed up 4 minutes ago.
Hold on, that's as they say in Spanish, dos Rathmans.
Cherie made it as well, so this is great.
Rapido dos Ratman.
Yeah.
6 in a row. Oh my gosh.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
So nice to be here. Nice to see you
Nice
guys.
to have everybody.
We just got done being on Talking Tech with Kelly Miller and Keith Bailey.
So I'm Ron Gonzalez. I'm Ron Gonzalez. Ron Yacovetti.
And I'm Lord Yacovetti. I am
Yacovetti or Yacovati?
I am
Yavakati.
Yavakati.
Well, we have a very great show tonight, and tonight we have Bryan J. Oh my God, my brain is absolutely Laverty. And I can go into his history. He is a paranormal investigator. He is the founder of the Parapost Network. And then he also has something called the SB7 Whisperer, which I'm not exactly sure what that is. And we're going to talk to him not only about that stuff, but he submitted some fantastic clips we're going to share tonight also. So let's bring Bryan in to say hello. Hey, Bryan, how are you?
I'm no C.
Yeah, exactly. I have to say, this is like 6 people. 6 people, a lot of people.
You feel like they're on trial? You feel like admitting?
It's funny you said that because that's what I said earlier. It felt like you guys are the jury and I'm the defendant.
No worries. That we're there. It's a very kind group, and
Are we?
We can be. We can be.
Have you met us, Tony?
He didn't say mature. He said kind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said kind. I didn't say mature.
Yeah. Kind of mature.
But anyway, Bryan, why don't you tell any of us that are not familiar with you and the audience how you got started in the paranormal, what occurred that got you interested, and how it led you up to everything you're doing today?
Well, that's a long story because I'm old. So long story short, when I was about 8 or 9 years old, I discovered that I was able to see things other kids couldn't see. Mm-hmm. So that's really where it began. I guess when I had my very first experience on being touched was when I was about 15 years old. I was at a friend's house. His grandmother just passed away. And so I was there probably about 3 weeks after she passed away, and we were sitting in his bedroom, and all of a sudden it felt like a hand touched my wrist.
Wow.
And then it felt like a head was leaning against my shoulder. And it lasted for about 30 seconds, and then it was gone. And I know a lot of people, when they get touched by a spirit or something paranormal, it's usually cold. This was actually a very warm feeling. And what was weird about the whole situation I said to my buddy, I said, listen, something's touching me. He didn't believe me. I said, I looked over to my right and there was an actual indent in the bed, like somebody was sitting beside me. Now, the funny thing about all of this is when his grandmother was alive, she used to do that to me.
Oh.
So we actually figured out that it was probably his grandmother that was communicating through me. And, just letting me know that, thank you for everything you've done. And it was gone. It was gone 30 seconds later. And it was just a very, very interesting experience. And I guess that's when I really started trying to figure out who I was as a person, because I was able to see things that other kids didn't see. But unfortunately, at that time, when you talked about that kind of stuff in the 70s, you were considered not all there. So I kept it very, very quiet. And unfortunately, I had the type of family that weren't big believers in it. So I kept it quiet for a long time. And then probably about 10 years ago, I had a friend that I was talking to and told him I was interested in doing it, maybe doing some investigations. And he said, well, I know a group. And so I went out with this group. They were just a local group, and I went out with them, and it was great. But unfortunately, they really threw me in the fire, because unfortunately, this place or this house, because it was a house investigation, and again, I don't use this term very much, but they were experiencing poltergeist activity and something demonic. The kids were being scratched, toys were being thrown, knives were being thrown, everything in the house was being thrown. So we went in there to investigate the place, and this is my first time on an investigation. I'd never been on an investigation before. So when I walked up to the house, I knew what I was going to be experiencing right away. Now, I will let people know that don't know me. When I see something, it's usually, I don't see facial features, and I can't hear them. But it's almost like a black mass that I see. But by gut and by feeling, I can tell if it's a man or a woman. So with saying that, if it's something demonic, it's more like the regular spirit's like a black mass, and it's solid. But a demonic, more along the lines of something demonic, it's like a translucent black smoke that moves around, like, let's say, a room very, very slowly. So that's what I see. And so when we were walking into this house, I looked to the left in the family room, and there it was. It was almost like it was owning the room. It was taking over the room. And to be honest, I didn't even want to be there. I wanted to leave. And there is a little bit of a funny story to that. About 20 minutes into the investigation, I leaned to one of the guys and said, how long do we stay here for? So it was almost like I wanted to leave. And
you want to leave right away, huh?
Yeah, I did. I did want to leave, and I didn't want to be there. Unfortunately, they went back 2 or 3 more times, and there's nothing they can do about it. They couldn't get rid of it. And from what I understand, the family moved. They tried everything. They tried the priest, they tried the medium, they tried investigators. They just couldn't get rid of it. So they ended up moving. I don't know what ended up with the house, but so that's how I really got into it from there on in. Like after that investigation, I was really intrigued about it more, and I really started studying it more, and I started going out more and started experiencing stuff more. And it's something I just fell in love with, and I really, really enjoy it. And what else can I say? That's really cool.
Well, that's a perfect explanation.
Yeah.
I think one of the coolest parts about that story is that he's talking about getting into this at a time when it was shunned, when it was shamed, and he couldn't talk about it.
Yeah.
He's still here. He's still doing it. And if you're in the field, at some level, you owe gratitude to people like him for not staying in the proverbial shadows with this stuff and moving it forward, because it may never have gone as far as it had gone if everybody who decided to run from shame had done that.
Right.
So,
well, my
Great
famous
point.
saying,
I agree.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, there's a famous saying I always say, as investigators, we run towards the noises. Most people run away from the noises.
That's right.
Yep.
Yep. So
Well,
true.
what's funny is I experienced the same thing in high school. Is I would tell my friends what I could see and what I could feel, and they thought I was nuts until I said, "Well, then come with me." And then the minute they had an experience, it was like, "Oh wow, Chris isn't as crazy as we thought he was."
And how many people who didn't believe in this stuff, how many people who thought it was all bull, wouldn't go once you gave them that invite? I don't believe in that stuff, but no, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a few.
Well, it's
There was a
interesting. I had my very, and again, I don't like to use this term very much, demonic. It's just not a popular word with me. I think it's overused and I think it's overdone. But my very first experience with a demonic, with something demonic, was when I was about 18 or 19 years old. There was a famous house that was down the street from us, and it almost looked like a castle, but it was a house. And kids would go there all the time and party and, you know, just live it up in this house, and every single weekend. And I never ever wanted to go. So finally I was convinced to go one weekend. And that was probably the worst mistake that I ever made. And I went in and I saw it right away. And I left pretty well right away. But later that night, a friend of mine was scratched, and severely scratched, and it was bleeding. And it wasn't from it was from this demonic thing. And he was sick for about 3 weeks after.
Wow.
He was literally sick, throwing up, everything. And
Wow.
it was a horrible situation, but it was definitely an experience that I learned from, for sure.
Can imagine. Yeah.
Ooh. Yucky.
Yeah. That's the thing about paranormal, regardless of what occurs at what level, even if the smallest things occur to the largest things. I don't think there's an investigation we've ever been on that we haven't learned something.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And plus,
definitely.
you don't go, especially if you're not experienced. That is the worst thing that you can do.
That's what I was thinking too. That he got thrown into this high level demonic case. That's like just going to NASA. And go, I've never even been on a 737. When do we hit Mars?
Well, I would definitely say if I knew then what I know now, I probably wouldn't have gone. But I'm glad I did, because it was an experience that something that I'm never ever going to forget.
Yeah. That's a great way to put it. And I think I can think of 10, 12 investigations you and I went on that if I knew what was going to happen, I probably would have at least thought twice.
I think we all do as investigators, right? When we enter a place and we know what's going to happen, we do have there's something in the back of our heads that's saying, well, maybe we shouldn't do this. But as investigators, we all know that we get challenges all the time. And I love hitting those challenges and figuring out what's there, because I'm just not a guy that's after the EVPs. I'm actually there to find out the answers.
Yeah. Absolutely. And we never really truly know. We can have expectations that are based on probability levels, but we never actually know. But that's the brass ring. Like I was saying earlier tonight, that's who we all are. We are homo bewilderus. We want to know what's going on. We want the answers. And it's taking the steps that you took, even in the face of challenges, especially early on. I think that's crazy, that to keep moving forward. That defines the passion for answers. The fact that you kept walking towards it.
Yeah, I put investigators in 3 categories. This is my own personal opinion. You have the hunter, you have the one that's looking for the answers, and then you have the scientific. So those are the categories that I put investigators, because you just have some investigators that are just out there looking for the EVPs, looking to get that capture, and that's it. I'm the one that goes out there wanting to find the answers. Awesome. So, and sometimes I get them, sometimes I don't, but I try to get them most of the time. Like with some of the clips that I sent you tonight that you're going to show, one of the locations, I got the answer on what happened, and there were 3 different stories of this place, and
that's cool.
It's years and years of people telling stories, and the 3 stories, the most common stories. And I think I found the answer in the video, in the investigation, which was really, really cool. And I didn't send you I don't think I didn't send you that video, but I can definitely talk about it when you show the clips for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what? That's really what we believe also, that anybody who's got a real deep-seated passion for this, for the paranormal and for investigating, which you clearly do, because if you started early on, like you said you did, that you know it wasn't even socially acceptable to talk about it, then you've been doing this a long time. And that definitely made it harder, no doubt about it, because there weren't discussion groups. You couldn't share the internet wasn't even up and fully functional, and you know you couldn't share.
We're definitely aging ourselves. That's
right.
Yeah. Hell, if you had a pager, you were a drug dealer.
I would even say the overarching thing would be to have two of those categories. I think scientific should apply to both sides of it, because science isn't an ideology; it's a method of inquiry. And so people say we're scientific. Our group is all scientific. Scientific is how the method is done. If your method's falsifiable, that by definition makes the method scientific. If you can falsify it, doing it a certain way is scientific. Just saying you're scientific or trying to debunk everything is not science. That's scientism. That's not the same thing. But I think when you're talking about looking for answers, and then you couple that with having integrity,
yes, very much,
and what you do, then that's the right path. That's the right path.
Yeah, integrity is very, very big with me. Very, very big with me. I had an incident that happened last year that I brought somebody with me on an investigation, and that video was going up on Paraflixx, and that was going to be my season-ending video. And my editor was going through it and found something that, let me put it this way, I was feeling every single emotion, and the top one was anger. And we thought we got some evidence that we thought was absolutely incredible. We thought we had a rock thrown at us in this investigation, and it ended up being unfortunately she threw the rock and I didn't see it. And I captured a ton of EVPs through this video, and somebody said to me, "Oh, we'll just go around it, just cut it out and show everything." No. To me, the whole video was compromised, and the video was deleted, unfortunately. And so that should speak volumes to me, that integrity means everything to me, and I will never, ever compromise or fake any videos that I do.
Yeah. You know, that's an excellent point and an excellent standpoint to have with all this, because I think out of all the groups that you named and specified, the one you forgot is the groups that will do anything to get a TV show. Because they're the fourth group.
Yeah, I try not to think about that too much, but you know, and like you said it earlier, it's passion. It just oozes out of me. I just love everything about it. And when I go on an investigation, it's like a, and I hate to use this term, but I'm going to say it. It's like a drug.
It is. It absolutely is.
It's like an addiction. Yeah. Yeah.
Every time you go out, and the longer you've done it, you're looking for that next excitement, that next high of a piece of evidence that you experience or capture that's above what you got the last time or the month before. And it's addicting. It really is.
It is. And
you guys are sick.
We are sick.
Demented and twisted too. Don't forget those.
Yeah, I think all paranormal investigators are strange in some way, aren't they?
That's what I say.
I think that was in a pause break moment, by the way. The fact that he wouldn't take a compromised piece of footage and put it into a show, because of that level of, I think that's in a pause break moment right there.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And this place, and actually the clip you have, another clip you have I sent is from this abandoned building that I went another time with somebody else. Nice. And that EVP's intelligent and class A all the way.
Well, let's take a look at some of the clips that Bryan sent over. So I'm going to name off the title of the first one I'm going to play. Yeah. And then, Bryan, I'll let you give any info you want before I play it, background, where it was at, anything you want before I actually play it. So the first one I'm going to play is called AB Clip 10.
Maybe we should, because I sent so many clips and I'm not exactly sure the names of them.
Just
but
real simple. Then I'll play it first, and you can tell us all about it. All right.
Catch you on the flip side.
What was that?
Catch you on the flip side.
Right.
Definitely.
Here is that first clip.
Is there a George in this building? Is there a George in this building?
Oh yeah, you can hear that very clear.
That was clearly a female, and she was annoyed you even asked where George was.
That's actually the one I was just talking about. The abandoned building that we got the Class A. That was definitely Class A. And what's interesting about this place is it's an abandoned paper mill. It's a factory. And the reason we were asking about George is because there's a rumor of a George dying in this building when it was open. So that's why I asked the question. And I figured it was a rumor, and I got the response that I did, that there is no George in the building.
That's a good response.
Yeah.
That's the answer right there.
The tonality in her voice, she doesn't want him in there either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time, and I don't know why, but every time I capture an EVP, my mouth drops. It just drops. And it's like, oh my God, did I just catch that? And
right.
I always find it like it could be something simple like that or a long sentence, but it doesn't matter to me because every time I capture an EVP, it's just I'm flabbergasted by
it's
it.
Like, it's the best thing ever.
Somebody brought up an interesting point to me yesterday that I thought was really, really interesting. You can walk into a place that's 300 years old and capture a voice or an EVP that it could be somebody that's 300 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
And it's just, to me, it's just amazing that they're still able to come through even after such a long time. You know what I mean? And it's just, I think it's really interesting. It fascinates me.
Yeah.
And how are they coming
What
through?
we do is fantastical. Arthur C. Clarke would say any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. And I think that's one of the reasons why people have such a difficult time even accepting that this is possible, because we're programmed our whole lives. This is supposed to not be possible. They're dead 300 years, they're dead 3 minutes. It's consciousness, whatever it is, that should not be happening. That whole clip was just white noise, just sweep. That was it. Then all of a sudden, boom, when you ask a question, a response to it. That's hard to dismiss. It's not based on belief. That's data. That's right. Data.
Yeah. Well, and that's also where the excitement level comes in with EVPs, because like you said, it's like magic. You know, there was no one there with you. You know, there was no one with that vocal structure or a woman at all, or whatever the case was. But you know, you were asking a question to an empty room, and yet a response came through, and that's like magic.
I'm telling you, this place, the abandoned building, is an absolutely incredible place. It's huge. It's a huge place, and it's like it doesn't matter where you go in this place. There's something there in each room.
Is that in Canada?
It is in Canada. Yes, I'm a Canadian boy. Yes, I am.
What part of Canada are you in?
I actually live in Toronto.
Okay, I've been to Toronto one time. I was at a comedy club called Comedy Wood years ago,
Okay.
And then I went to Edmonton one time. Edmonton was beautiful. September. Went back in December. I have never, and I'm in New Jersey. I have never experienced cold like I did in Edmonton. Like 15 minutes. It felt like 3 hours.
Yeah. I think
John
last
is
week.
moving to Canada, Toronto.
Who is?
I think last week it hit -50.
Ooh.
Oh,
Jeez.
Oh my God, we died.
-50. And is that with or without the wind chill factor?
That's no wind chill.
That's no wind chill?
That's no wind. They you know what? You walk outside and you have to cover up because you'll get frostbite within minutes.
Yeah, no doubt. When I was in Edmonton, I was outside. I had a 10 or 12-minute walk to the underground pedway. It was a walkway underground. That's how cold it gets there. They have an underground sidewalk. And I was outside for 12 minutes the most, if that. And my nose and ears felt like I was outside for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Like everything was numb. Like
I wouldn't
that.
suggest going to the bathroom.
Right. Oh, exactly. Dylan says Celsius, right? No, I think that's Fahrenheit. If that was Celsius, everyone would be dead.
Seriously, it's a fantastic strategy. It's a fantastic strategy to keep the Americans out.
The thing with in Toronto, we're the most southern part of Canada, so it really doesn't get that cold here. And we don't get, like, we've had quite a bit of snow this year, but in the past, like the last 10 years, we haven't had a lot of snow because we are the most southern part of Canada.
Wow.
So.
It's a great city, too. I bet it is a great city.
Yeah. But, you know, Canada's got its reputation, or Toronto does, and I'm nothing like that reputation. I'm a nice guy.
I haven't heard anything bad about Canada, so.
Well,
I have one funny Canada story if you want to hear it. It's very short. Sure. I was at the comedy club. I did stand-up comedy for a number of years. I was at Comedywood in Toronto. And I was with another gentleman from New York City, and he mentioned that we went to the movies that afternoon, and we saw the previews. This is how long it was for Independence Day.
Oh,
wow. During the trailer, when the UFO went over the White House and blew it up, the audience cheered. We went.
I say no more. I say no more.
True story.
That's funny.
Damn, Taryn.
We actually had Taryn on our show yesterday.
Oh, she's great.
She's awesome. Yeah.
She's great. I agree.
It's hard to believe she lives in New Jersey. She's so nice.
That's where we are.
That's where we are.
Oh, you guys are nice too. Yeah. She says she doesn't like New Jersey. I don't know why. I've never been, but is it not a nice place? I don't know. I
love New Jersey.
They say, show me a guy with 1 foot, I'll show you a guy who hid his money in his stock. That's New Jersey. Yeah. They call it the Garden State because you're guarding your car, you're guarding your house, you're guarding your stuff.
Okay, that's
I'm done.
That was good. All right, let's move on to the next clip. The next clip I'm going to play is called Screaming Tunnel.
So let me tell you a little bit about the Screaming Tunnel. The Screaming Tunnel is a very famous spot in Canada, and there's 3 stories to this place. And as I was saying earlier in the conversation, I think I found out the answer on what happened to the girl. There's 3 stories of a girl that was killed in the tunnel. Unfortunately, the first story is, and the most famous, that this girl was sexually assaulted in the tunnel and was killed, and then her body was set on fire.
Oh.
So that's why it's called the Screaming Tunnel, because they say if you put a matchstick up to the wall, you'll hear her scream.
Wow.
So that's the famous story. There's a couple of other stories. This girl that passed away, or the girl that died in the tunnel, her parents were going through a nasty divorce, and the house was not very far away from the tunnel. Well, the father set the house on fire. The little girl was still in the house and got severely burned, ran down to the tunnel to hide, and she died. So that's another story. And then there's the other story where possibly the father killed the girl in the tunnel. So, there's several stories that have come up from this Screaming Tunnel. And just before you show this clip, and I didn't send you this clip, and I should have. And I was thinking about it after I sent the clips. But during an investigation, near the end of the investigation, and this is where the SB7 whisperer comes up that you were mentioning earlier. On the SB7, I asked the question, did you die here? Simple question. And it said yes. And then it said burnt from home.
Oh, wow.
So that's the answer that I was saying that I got. That kind of tells the story of what happened to this girl, that there wasn't a sexual assault there. And, you know, she was burnt from home and she came down the tunnel and died, which is a really, really sad story. But these clips that you're going to be showing here, the streaming tunnel, I walked away. I was probably about 300 meters away from the tunnel. We were trying to look for the foundation of the house that burnt down because supposedly it's still there. And if you go there, there's a lot of energy around this foundation and you can capture a lot. So we were trying to actually look for the foundation. And these are the clips that I sent you. I was talking to the SB7.
Okay, here's that clip.
That's awesome. Yeah. What's that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, that was great.
That clip
Definitely
is
a female voice too. Yeah.
That clip is right outside the tunnel. What's funny about that is I heard it, but I wasn't sure what I heard. So I came home, remembering that spot. I came home and put the SD card in my laptop, and I went to that spot, and there it was. What's your name? And it was like, you don't have to turn it up. Like we didn't audio boost that at all. That's the way it sounded. And again, my mouth dropped when I caught it, and when I heard it, it was just amazing.
Let me play that. Let me play that again because that's fast. So here it is one more time.
That's awesome. Yeah. What's that?
Yeah, you did react.
Yeah.
You may not have known exactly what you heard, but you knew you heard something, and your reaction shows in the video. That was great.
Yeah, that's this. I don't know why this place isn't on the top 10 list, because every time I go there, I capture something, and it's not like one thing; it's like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 things, and it's not on the top 10 list, and it's crazy because it should be.
Oh, some of that might have to do with you too. I mean, you know, you've been.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah. You have a fantastic connection, so it may not be as the efficacy of evidence capture there may not be the same for everybody else, or at least not as consistent as it is for you. So don't discredit yourself unintentionally from that, because I think that's also part of it. I think is what you contribute to it, and that was really classic. As like Radova used to say, that was, and I'm glad you played it again. It was fast.
Yeah.
The fact that you even heard that, that's a trained ear, because that's easy to miss.
Yeah. And, you know, the place is amazing. I just love going. I've been there like 4 or 5 times. I just love going back because, again, it's one of those things, like I said earlier, I'm looking for answers. Yeah. I want to know why she's there. And I want to know if I can help her. And, you know, and that's the main thing. We've captured man voices in there. We captured a man saying his name. And we captured a man saying his name was Dan. And could that be the father? Because there's a story that the father committed suicide in the tunnel too. So could that be the father? It's just crazy. But the other streaming tunnel pieces that I sent you, those are from the SB7. And the reason I started getting that name last year because the amount of evidence that I capture through the SB7 is absolutely astounding. And somebody said to me several months back, maybe you can see them. Maybe the theory is, well, I think the theory is because I can see them, I can't hear them. They are speaking through the SB7 so I can hear them.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Because I've never, like, I'm not tooting my own horn or anything like this, but I've never ever seen anybody capture this much evidence that I've captured through the SB7. Like the abandoned church clip that I sent you, I didn't say, like, I have several, but I was doing an SB7 session and it said Bryan 3 times.
Oh.
And I said, I've been here so much, you should know my name. Right away it said Bryan.
Interesting.
It's just incredible. I'm that's where the SB7 whisper comes, because I capture so much through the SB7.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
That's cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
All right. So do you want me to play? I mean, I can jump ahead. That was the first Screaming Tunnel. And then there looks like there's another one labeled Clip 2 Screaming Tunnel, and then Screaming Tunnel Clip 2.
Those are the 2 SB7 clips. That
all right, let me really, play the first.
Super cool. They're super cool.
All right, here it is.
Which way do I go? Point me in the right direction. Do I go straight or is it behind me? The other side. What does that mean? What does the other side mean? Which way do I go? Point me in the right direction. Do I go straight or is it behind me? The other side. What does that mean? What does the other side mean?
Hey, Ken.
Yeah.
The other side.
There is a bell.
That's something really, really interesting in that. Right before the male voice says the other side, there's a female voice that says straight.
Yeah, and the other clip that I sent you, she comes through the SB7 as well.
Yeah.
What's really cool about that is the reason it said the other side is because we were on the wrong side of the road. Road. So it was actually helping us find it. But the other clip that I sent you, which is really, really cool, this was actually a couple of minutes before that one.
Okay.
So if you play that one, you're going to see it's cool. It's really cool.
All right. Here's the next one.
Can you help us find it? You'll never find it. That just said you'll never find it. Can you help us find it? You'll never find it. That just said you'll never find it.
That's sure crazy. That was great.
Not only is that cool, I'm going to pull a Chris Allgood now, if I may, Chris. Pull a Chris Allgood. Okay. Right before it says you'll never find it, which I hear, absolutely, there's a female high tone that says forget it.
Yeah, we heard it too.
I heard it too. Yep.
That's really cool.
It sounds like the same voice from the other clip that Chris said there's a woman there as well. We heard that one too.
And
now we're all good.
And you know, the funny thing is we never did find it. So
oh wow.
So that made it accurate on top of it.
Yeah, that's
that's really the question you got to ask yourself, is that by chance or is that because somebody didn't want you to?
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. But we were actually doing a TikTok live, and actually somebody said in the comments that I'll help you find it because I know where it is. And so she was trying to help us, but we still didn't find it, so we gave up.
Wow.
Dylan is asking if you're coming to Arizona.
Dylan.
I think from -50 to 117.
Yeah,
that's probably killer.
I would embrace. I would embrace it for sure.
Bryan, we used to live there. You'd friggin' melt.
I heard. I do have some friends that live in Arizona, so I know what the weather's like. But trust me, the way it's cold right now, bring it on. Bring it on.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So, Bryan, I got a question about the tunnel, and this one's driving me crazy. Have you ever asked the question if the male voice is the father, or is the male voice the person that killed her?
We have, but we never really got an answer. But
next time you're there, try again.
Yeah, we'll try. But one question we did I wanted to try an experiment because I wanted to see if we were going to hear the streams. Now, personally, myself, I think the story's generated because somebody was probably in the field that stream, and it came through the tunnel, and that's where the stream came from. But you never know. But there was a time where I said I had a lighter with me. I didn't have any matches, so I said, "Do you mind if I light up the wall? I'm going to do it now." And literally, an EVP we captured, it said, "Don't."
Wow.
So, we've asked about the man in the past, but it's just nothing has come through. But trust me, that's in the back of my mind that I want to get that answer if it's him, for sure.
Great. If you ever do, please.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things you get that answer every five times you go. So, yeah.
True.
It is.
True. All right. The next one I'm going to play is called Church Clip.
Yeah, this is a good one.
Cool.
Yeah, this is a good one. If it's the one that I'm thinking it is, we actually left. Actually, why don't you play it and then we'll talk about it after?
All right. Here comes that clip. Yeah.
Heard that.
Yep.
Sounds. I mean, it's lighter, but it sounds like a younger, a younger
Girl.
female to me.
I've captured a lot at this place. I've been in this place like 4 or 5 times, and I've captured a lot. I even in the same investigation where you just saw this clip, we actually captured, because in the main area there's a piano, so that camera is sitting on the piano. Earlier in the investigation, I actually got the piano playing.
Wow.
It played one note, and it was really, really super cool. And I was hoping the times that I would go there and putting the camera on the piano that I would catch it, and I caught that. Now, with that particular EVP, I heard that voice many times since I've been in this church, like 4 or 5 times. And we actually left the room. Now, moments before that, me and Jay, a friend of mine, we were walking out of the room, and actually from the ceiling, and again, I'm very careful when it comes to orbs. Okay, I'm very careful when it comes to orbs. So we actually saw an orb come from the ceiling and follow us out of the doorway.
Wow.
And so we were in another room doing an SB7, and that's where we captured that please come back, which is funny because on another investigation, we were in one room and I captured this. We were in that same room doing the SB7, and we left. And then I captured an EVP saying, please come back again.
Wow.
So, and this is the church where it captured it said my name 3 times over the SB7. Now, I know there's a lot of people out there that say the SB7 and radio and stuff like that, but it has to be a very, very large coincidence for it to say Bryan 3 times.
Yeah. It's no coincidence. When Cherie and I got our first SB7 11 years ago or whatever that was, and then we started doing consistent ITC, we did it because I said to Cherie, I said, do you listen to this? I said, almost every question we ask, there's an answer here. Mm-hmm. You can't always hear it because they added the white noise as a secondary factor to it, and it's overpowering. But I said, Cherie, 9 out of every 10 questions, there's an answer. And that's what started us down the whole ITC of trying to clear up spirit boxes. So
I just my go-to is definitely the spirit box. Any investigator, and I know a lot of people complain about that, but you know what? When you're getting those answers out of the SB7 like I am, I will listen to that for 3 days because it's amazing what you get out of the SB7. It's just incredible.
It does work well. I will agree with that completely.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the SB11.
No.
I'm a bigger fan of the SB7. Obviously, I talked about it.
What's the difference?
The 11 has 2 dual stations, which can either sweep forward or reverse, but it's louder. It just doesn't work as well. At least I didn't think so. The 7 worked better.
Yeah.
Yeah, he likes the 11. I've gotten stuff out of both that was kind of staggering. I don't know. I hesitate to judge any device on a limited amount of experiences. And people who say, and I've worked with people before, people who say they can't listen to the noise and it drives them crazy and this and that. And if you're getting something as astounding as direct responses from out of nowhere, whether it's dimensional or spiritual or astral or whatever it is, at the moment you're asking it, we always talk about timing and relevance. If you're saying, what's my name, and your name comes through, those are beyond astronomical odds that any radio bleed through on any station as it sweeps is saying your name at the moment you ask for it. And I tell people, 3 times, right? I tell people, if that's what's happening, I need to know when they're giving away cash and prizes because my luck is phenomenal.
Well, it's funny because in this church also, we don't know what's going on in this church. Like, honestly, I've tried to go in there and get the answers, but we know they want to leave. We know that for sure because we asked a question on an investigation, do you want to leave this place? And the response we got on the SB7 was very sad. A very, very sad man and a very, very sad voice. He literally went, yes. And it was so sad. And
you felt it.
Yeah, you felt it go right through you because you could hear the pain in his voice. And I don't know what's going on with this church, but this church has got so much activity in it that I just released a part 1 and we walked into this place, and I'm going to say a word. I hope you guys don't get mad at me for saying this, but we walked into the place and it called us assholes right away.
Oh, we've said worse than that, Brian. You're good.
Okay.
No worries on that. We've been called, I think, between DRV and spirit boxes. I think we've been called just about, and I know you guys have too, been called everything under the sun. So,
Yeah. Well, what we determined after we did the investigation, they don't mind me coming there, but the 2 people I was with, they didn't like them.
So I got a question for you, Brian. So I'm a firm believer. I'm also sensitive, but I'm also very religious too. But I don't let the 2 cross because my question to you is, going into a church, I won't investigate a church because I believe once God leaves, it opens the door for darker stuff.
Yeah.
Do you think there's some of that going on? Do you think that might be some entities trapped there and pinned there because of that reason?
I don't think there's anything malicious there. I don't. I think, okay, I'll say this. This church is not your typical Catholic, Christian, Anglican type of church. It's one of those churches that I think, one of those, I don't want to say this, but I'm going to. It almost seems like it's one of those cult churches.
Okay. That would make a difference.
Because I've never heard of this term. During the video, there's something on the floor and I pick it up and it said Children of Zion. And I've never heard of that. So there's definitely nothing malicious there. It's just a lot of sad people. We've captured a little boy that's there. We think his name is Michael because we've got Michael on the spirit box several times. And we've captured Michael on the camera as well. There's definitely a woman there, unfortunately. And everybody encounters this that I think is an investigator. Well, maybe not everyone. I actually had a woman follow me home from the church. And she was very, very, very sad and very, very lonely. I ended up taking her back because she didn't belong in my sanctuary. I love investigating, but my home is my home and they don't belong here. And yeah.
Okay, so Star Children of Zion. It was a fictitious group of SCX organization that established 43 years ago in Canada. The beliefs is that it was a UFO cult.
Huh.
Yeah.
I knew I'd heard that name before.
Oh, interesting.
So that's what I mean. Like, it's just to me, I would never actually go into a church that's Catholic or anything like that. But this particular church has been around since 1879.
Wow.
And there's actually a graveyard right down the road that's from the 1500s. And I've been to that graveyard. I'm not big on the graveyard thing. I'll be honest. I don't believe. Well, that's again. This is my opinion, and I don't want anybody to get mad at me if I say this. So I just don't think. If I were to pass away, the last thing I'd want to do is stay in a graveyard. I would want to go to a place where I know and love. And I think why would any spirit or soul want to stay in a graveyard? Those are my beliefs. So I don't tend to do investigations at graveyards. I just don't find, I don't know if it's because I'm not lucky or it's just because it's something in the back of my head that's saying, you know what, don't even bother. That's the last resting spot for these people. The last thing you need to be doing is going there and doing what you're doing. I just don't believe in it. And there's been people I've seen in the past that have gone to graveyards. And hey, listen, I don't question anybody that goes to a graveyard. If you want to go to a graveyard and that's your thing, great, do it. But I've seen some pretty despicable things that people have done at graveyards on investigations on video, and I just I won't do it. I won't do it.
Right.
So
right.
I have certain beliefs. Maybe people don't agree with them, but you know, that's me.
Right. Yep.
Yep. I agree. I agree.
No,
Amen, Tracy.
Yeah.
Yep.
So true. So true.
Next.
All right.
So you got another.
Well,
is it the last one, or is there any more? Is there any more? Is there? I think there's two more, right? How many?
There's two more.
There's two more.
Okay.
There's two more.
Yeah.
So we're still good. You know what? Before I go into the next clip, that might be fast.
7:52.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
You're giving plenty of warning.
Yeah. Okay. I'll play this next clip.
Okay.
Well, you're right. Let me give them the warning. So anyone listening on the KGRA audio, they will flip over to their next show at the top of the hour. Our show will continue to go on. So switch over to Facebook or YouTube because we're going to go through the rest of Bryan's great evidence. So if you want to switch over to KGRA's next show, thank you for listening to us. We appreciate it and enjoy the next KGRA episode. But if you'd like to finish out this program, switch over to the Facebook channels or the YouTube channels.
Just stay.
Yeah, they would like to stay.
Hey.
Wow, yeah.
Don't get us wrong. We love KGRA and we love the next show coming on, but
Yeah.
But we love our buddies.
Stick around. There's stuff yet to come. All right. So with that said, the next clip I'm going to play is called Burwash Prison Clip 3.
Oh, this one's great. Let me set this one up. This place is absolutely amazing. And when I caught this, again, this is an SB7. When I caught this, I was floored. I didn't show it on camera, but I was floored. And where we are is there's a certain part of the prison where it actually there's a stage and there's a projection room. So it actually looked like that's the place where they saw movies or watched movies or productions. So I asked the question, and this is the answer.
All right. Here's that clip.
Did you watch movies in here? Definitely. That was definitely. Did you watch movies in here? Definitely. That was definitely.
That was great.
That's cool. That's really cool.
It is cool.
I want to point out one of the things that's so cool. How long have you been doing this stuff now? How many years? About
10 years.
10?
Yeah.
So I mean, he's got a decade of experience, but he's got the enthusiasm of somebody who's brand new. Every clip, he gets excited before you even play it. That's awesome. That
I know. You see the smile on his face.
Don't lose that. Don't lose that.
No,
It'll always be fun. That's cool.
It's really cool. And what's even great about that clip, in order for me to get to Burwash Prison, I have to drive 4.5 hours to get there, first of all. And then you have to walk 45 minutes to get to the prison. And it's in the middle of nowhere. And there's no way you would get any radio stations on where we were. And again, there was just an intelligent response back, and the place is amazing. I've captured so many EVPs on the camera. But my one regret of that place, and it's kind of a funny story. The first time I was there, we went in, it was in July, and I didn't bring bug spray with me.
That's a shame.
We all know how that goes.
That's a 45-minute walk in the woods there and a 45-minute walk in the woods back, not including the investigation in Canada.
Yeah.
That's dedication.
When we were walking there, we were just infested with bugs. I think I had, and I have the pictures still to prove it. I had 1,000 bites on my back, and I was wearing, and then I did the mistake of wearing a white shirt. And so my whole back was covered in blood from the horse flies and the deer flies. And I was soaked by the time I got to the prison.
Wow, you were a walking human sacrifice.
Yeah. And you know what? I would say that yeah, but at the end of the day, the evidence that I captured was amazing, so it was all worth it.
There you go. Yeah. That's an investigator. There it is. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. I got devoured by insects. They looked like orbs on camera. They weren't evidence, but I got good audio stuff. Going back.
Exactly.
Brian, answer me a question. As a sensitive, you get excited when you capture something.
Yeah.
Do you blame yourself when you don't?
Wow, I've never been asked that question. That's interesting. Yeah, I would say yes. Definitely. Because I can walk into a place and see something right away. And then I can walk into another place knowing that it's haunted and not see anything. And yeah, it definitely upsets me. It's interesting. I've never been asked that question before. Chris, that was an amazing question.
Chris Allgood, ladies and gentlemen. Chris Allgood.
That's Chris.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Well, the reason I ask is because I actually do. When we don't catch anything, I blame myself because I feel like I should be able to pick up the energy and know where we're going to capture stuff. Yeah. And when we don't, I feel like I fail.
Yeah, and true. And I want to say this. Everybody else's questions have been good too. So I'm not singling anybody out.
But it's a plus, right?
We are used to it. Chris Allgood on a weekly basis will come up with an angle on an evidence on the person with something that is he's so observant and not just visually, just circumstantially. He's so good at what he does that we're not surprised that he came up with a question like that. I think that's what makes the show great is those moments that just come out of nowhere.
Yeah, that's awesome. A Class A question right there.
Thank you.
That probably helped a lot of people to hear the answer to that because I bet there's more people who identify with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's definitely cool. But I will say, most places I go, I do get evidence. So I will say
very cool. Very cool. All right, I have one remaining clip.
Oh.
And
I could have said
it says TikTok 30p clip 1.
I'll let you play that. And
all right.
You guys are going to be, yeah.
All right. Love it. Here's that clip.
Okay, we came here to communicate with us, with you. Can you come closer to us? We're talking to this box that's sitting right here. Okay, we came here to communicate with us, with you. Can you come closer to us? We're talking to this box that's sitting right here.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Male voice. Yeah.
It's in whisper, but it's there.
Yeah, and it's funny because that's what I was saying earlier. This building, I captured women voices, I captured man's voices, and it was the one from where it said no. This is the same building, and it was just later on in the investigation, and it's crazy. It's crazy.
So was it absolutely before or after the no?
After this was in a different area, so we got that. I believe it was after. So we captured no, it was before actually, but then we went to another location and we captured the no. Okay. Yeah, it was before.
Wow, very interesting.
Yeah, I could send you hundreds, but I figured you wanted this show to end at some point. So,
on YouTube.
Well, that was my next question for audience members that would like to see other clips. Are there places that you can let them know where they can go and take a look?
Yeah, well, most of my videos now go up onto Paraflixx.
Okay.
So the Burwash prison where you saw where it said part 3, that's actually a series that I put up on Paraflixx for 3 parts.
Oh, cool.
And over on YouTube, it's Huntaphobia. I changed the name a little bit because somebody suggested I should put Canada in there. So I put Canada in there now. So it's actually Huntaphobia Canada. But you can definitely go watch the videos over at YouTube. And awesome. I have clips on TikTok as well. Lots of clips on TikTok. But, Facebook and all those wonderful places. And I also put them up on Parapost Network.
Cool.
Very cool.
Parapost Network is, if you're not familiar with that, is something that I created last year. I was flipping through all these social media places and going, you know what? I can't find anything that I'm interested in. There's thousands and thousands of groups. So I decided that I was going to create my own social media site. And that's when it began last January, and it was released last March. And it's called Parapost Network. So it's for paranormal investigators, UFOs, supernatural, cryptics, enthusiasts, anybody that wants to connect. And it's great because of the fact that it's not one of those things where you have to friend somebody in order to see their stuff. It's an open community, so you get to see everybody's stuff that they post.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You forgot to mention Parapost.
But he just did.
Parapost Network.
He did?
That's what he was talking about.
Ignore me.
It's had a long day. She's tired.
That's okay. It's okay.
Someone wanted you to repeat the name on how to find you on YouTube.
The YouTube.
Yeah, Jed did.
It's it's Huntaphobia. HUNTAPHOPIA. Just Huntaphobia.
Awesome. Cool. Well, I gotta say, Bryan, just some fantastic information you shared tonight with us, with the audience. You've got a great reputation. You've got a serious style of investigating. Yeah. Your evidence clips are phenomenal. So my only words are great job. Keep it up. Keep doing what you're doing, because that was impressive. That was some great stuff.
Yay, Canada.
Yay, Canada. Even though they cheer when our White House gets blown up. But we'll deal with it.
Hey, Era Unity knows no boundaries.
That's right.
Exactly. I would never blow up the building.
I would also like to say thank you to everyone in our audience. Without you guys, we would not be able to do this, and this show would not exist. So thank you, everyone who was watching tonight. Sure.
Can I say something?
Sure.
I would have to say, and I've been on a lot of different shows, but I'm going to say this, and sorry if I offend anybody, but you guys are awesome. And this is the most fun I've had in a show in a long time.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for that, Brian.
If you're all offended, too bad. Brian said it.
We have it on video.
Yes, and it'll be cut out and replayed.
Can you say that again?
For multiple advertisements.
Can you say that again?
That one's gonna get replayed like an EVP, baby. That one right there.
You guys are awesome. I just had a wonderful time, and thank you so much for asking me to come on the show. And you guys keep on doing your thing because you guys are amazing. You guys are really.
Thank you.
Thank
The
you.
last couple. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. The last couple thank yous I want to give is obviously to our producer and to KGRA for putting this out for us every week and allowing us to broadcast. So thank you. And last but not least, Chris, Audra, Chris, okay? Chris, do you want to give our closing line? But wait, but wait 1 second. I need to be ready so when you quit talking, I can end it. So, okay, go ahead.
Stretch.
Button ready.
Stretch, Chris.
Stretch it out. Stretch it out. Remember, everybody, to be an investigator, you don't have to be sensitive. You don't have to be scientific. You don't have to go out and record stuff. You have to be passionate. You have to have integrity. And you have to come on our show to show it. But most of all, you have to stay haunted. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.